there everybody, it's Mike DiLisio, and today I'm going to be reviewing Billabong Race from designer Eric Solomon and publisher Plate Games. In Billabong Race, you are racing a team of kangaroos around a desert track, trying to be the first to get all of your kangaroos across the finish line. Let's head to the table, I'll show you how this game plays, and then we'll come back here and I'll let you know what I think. Billabong Race is part of publisher Plate's L-Board series, where the box becomes the play area by taking it apart, putting it together, it's magnetized, and then that becomes your play area. At the beginning of the game, every player is going to choose a player color and take the 5 kangaroos of that color. In a 5-player game, there would only be 4. They are then going to be placing them one at a time in the starting zone. The starting zone consists of the area behind this river and at the midway point of this billabong in the center. So right in this area right here. You notice also in the center of the billabong is our referee kangaroo, which I'll talk about in a moment. So let's say purple is first, perhaps they'd place their first kangaroo here, red would go next, maybe they'd go there, and then yellow would go next, maybe they'd go right here. And you continue to do that until all of the kangaroos are placed out. It might look something like this. All right, so here you see all the starting pieces in the beginning zone here, and you'll notice they're not all right here at the starting line, and this is a race, it's called Billabong Race, and this river here is the start-end line. You also see the referee kangaroo sitting there in the billabong waiting to be called upon, and so the winner of the game is going to be the player who gets all of their kangaroos around a full cycle of this race, going and taking a rest in the billabong. The first player to get all of them is going to be the winner. The reason why you don't necessarily want them all right up at the finish line or a start-finish line is because of the way they move. So on your turn, you're going to take one of 2 different types of movement actions, either a standard move or a jump. So let's say, purple was going first and they wanted to do a standard move with this kangaroo. They can move to any of the surrounding squares. You can go diagonally, you can go backward, it doesn't matter. However, if another kangaroo was there, you could not go into that spot. But more often what you're trying to do is a jumping move because it allows you for further movement. So let's say instead of taking a standard space with this kangaroo, the purple player wanted to use this kangaroo to jump over that kangaroo. They can definitely do that. They can do that by looking at the amount of spaces between them. So there's 1 space between them. They would jump right there. Now, there are some things that you'd have to consider. If there was another kangaroo on the other side, you couldn't make that jump because you can only jump 1 kangaroo in a single turn. In a single jump, I should say, okay? Also, you can't make a jump that would take you off the edge of the board. You can't jump over the billabong. You can't jump onto another kangaroo. So, they could have made that jump. However, they have some other options. They could have jumped this one to go here, but what they may want to do is take more than 1 jump on their turn. So if you're going to do that, you usually want the referee to kind of keep track of things. So you would place it on your starting spot, and then this kangaroo could jump here, because it would be a distance of 1, and then they can jump that one, and they can end up all the way over here. So things along those lines. You can make multiple jumps on your turn as long as you are following all of the rules, okay? Now, if red went next, they have some options. They could jump over this one and end up all the way over here. They could jump over this one, end up here. Now, they couldn't make that jump because the purple kangaroo is in the way. So that's the general idea of the game. You're going to be moving around the board, making jumps, hopefully getting multiple jumps in a single turn if you're able to pull that off, trying to prevent other people from jumping over yours, getting all of your kangaroos around the finish line so that they can go hang out in the billabong. The first player to do so and get all of their kangaroos around the board is the winner of Billabong Race. Let's head back and I'll let you know what I think. All right, there you have Billabong Race. As you saw, a very, very simple game. And if you're anything like me, when you first kind of come across this game, it may give you some memories of checkers because of the way that you're trying to jump pieces and ideally jump several pieces in one move. And so there is definitely some familiarity in there and a relatively, well, not relatively, very simple rule set. But before we get into the gameplay more, let's just first talk about the production because I do think it's notable. So this is an older game that I believe was just originally called Billabong that came out a number of years ago. And the Korean publisher Plate has, as part of their kind of process throughout their history, they have taken many older games, repackaged them, repurposed them for modern audiences. And so they take a game that was much bigger and put it into a smaller box like this L board box. And so I like these L boards, but your mileage may vary because you have to decide whether the space that you're saving both on your shelf and on the table is worth having boards that have kind of creases and folds of them in them. So that's really going to be up to you. I've reviewed a number of these L board games. I think that's a good trade-off. I'd much rather have more shelf space, a much more portable game than, worry a little bit about a few creases that I have not found to impact gameplay at all. Also, the player pieces are very nice. There's really not much to this game other than these wooden kangaroos, but they're very nice. And the magnetized dual board that makes up the actual playing surface and the art, such as it is, which is right here. I like that, okay? Now, getting into the gameplay. As I mentioned, this kind of has this feel of maybe checkers, where you are trying to set yourself up for moves where you can make multiple jumps and have impactful turns every time that it comes back to your turn. And so that's a positive, and it's also a negative, and here's why I think that's the case. On the positive side of things, it feels very satisfying when you spot a particularly good move and you're able to get 3-4 jumps in one go and get a big movement for one of your kangaroos. There's no doubt about it. If you're able to pull those off, and it happens, relatively frequently, you feel good about it. On the downside is that this is a game that is almost 100% tactical. And depending upon the play group that you have, could lead to a play experience that I feel like belies what it looks like you're getting when you see the front and the back of the box. Okay, and what I mean by that is this. There's another popular game out there, or there's a popular game out there called Five Tribes. And this is a relatively midweight Euro game where every turn, it's a Mancala style game, and the board state changes so much between one turn and your next turn that you can't really make a lot of advanced planning moves. You have to kind of look at the board state when it's your turn and then try to make the best move based upon the way it is right there. And the same holds true here, although this is not a medium weight Euro game. This is, a filler, essentially. And so if you feel like this is the type of game where I'm going to be able to set myself up on this turn for something in the next turn, it's likely not going to be the case because the things you're planning on and hoping to be there will likely not be there. And so what that turns into, I have found, is that on players' turns, they're looking at every single one of their kangaroos. And this is especially becomes the case in higher player count games, and especially as the game goes on, if one or two of the kangaroos have already crossed the finish line, people really start to look at every single one of their player pieces on the board and try to figure out what's the best possible move I can get. What that leads to is a bit of dragginess and grinding halts where some person might feel like it's their best move to just do a standard move with one of their kangaroos. They look, they go, boop, that's their turn. And then the next player is kind of trying to figure out the very best thing. And there's no real flow there because you've got really long turns, then maybe a really short turn or two, and then another really long turn. And so I think that experience that can happen belies what it looks like you're getting here, which is a light, breezy, fun, zippy, fast racing game. This is not a zippy, fast racing game at all. That's not to say it's necessarily bad. It just depends on what type of an experience that you're wanting. For me, I saw this game, I kind of saw what it was about, and I was looking for a zippy, fast, silly, fun, jump type of a game. And what I got was something quite a bit different, a lot more thinky, a lot more analysis paralysis potential there than I had expected going in. So for me, I can't quite recommend Billabong Race. I'm going to give it a 6. I don't think it's a bad game at its core, but I do think you need to know what you're getting into. It's extremely tactical, which I usually like, but in the case of this game, it doesn't feel like a race. It feels like an abstract puzzle rather than a race. And so if you really are looking for an abstract puzzle within the guise of a racing game, then you might like it. I was looking for a racing game, a little bit faster, a little bit snappier, and that's not exactly what I got. So there you go. That is Billabong Race, a 6 out of 10 from me. All right, this is Mike DiLisio. I will see you on the next one.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.